All right, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk about casting. So specify a variable type. So there may be times when you want to specify a type onto a variable. This can be done with casting. Python is an object-oriented language, and as such, it uses classes to define data types, including its primitive types. So casting in Python is done using constructor functions. So integer constructs an integer number, a nit, I should say, constructs an integer number from an integer literal, a float literal by rounding down to the previous whole number, or a string literal providing the string represents a whole number. Float constructs a float number from an integer literal, a float literal or a string literal providing the string represents a float or an integer. String, or str, constructs a string from a wide variety of data types, including strings, integer literals, and float literals. Now, we did talk about a lot of this in the previous video, so this is more of a review than anything else, but it's also, we're building onto what we've already learned, and so let's jump over to our notebook and talk about casting there. All right, so we're in Anaconda. What I want you to do is launch your Jupyter Notebook, and then we're going to create a notebook for casting. Okay, and what I want you to do is I want you to go to Desktop, go to Python Basics, and we're going to create a new notebook, and we're going to call it 05 Casting. Okay, so let's go to New Python 3 Notebook, and then let's give it the name of 05 Casting. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, first we're going to talk about the integer. Okay, constructor function. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll talk about integer. So let's do hashtag and then do int with the function here, and then we'll do float with the function, and then string with the function. Okay, so that way we know that these are constructor functions. Okay, so the very first one we're going to talk about is integers. Okay, so with this, what we would do is right here we would do a equals init 1. Okay, b equals init 3.7. Okay, and then c equals init, okay, and then in quotations 5, okay, because it's a string. Okay, so let's run that, and nothing happens because we're not printing anything. So let's print A, let's print B, and let's print C. Okay, now let's run it. And now you can see we have 1, which is here, right? 3, which is 3.7, so rounded down. And then 5 is our string, okay? So that's integer, constructor functions, okay? That's a constructor function. So that's integer. And now we're going to do the float constructor function, okay? So with that one, what you would do is similar, but it would be down here. So what we'll do is we'll do D, E, F, and G. So we're going to do 4, okay? And they're all going to equal float. So we'll do float 1, okay? And we'll do 2. And then E is going to equal float. And we're going to do 4. And then F is going to equal float. We're going to do 6, but we have to put these in quotes, okay, as I hit enter and create mega errors here. And then G equals float, okay, and we're going to do, in quotes, 7.3, okay, and then we're going to print all these. So let's print D, E, okay, F, and G. Okay, now I'll run it. and then all the errors go away. Now, let's look at each one of these. So when I did 2, it added the decimal. When I did 4, it added the decimal, so 4.0. And if I do 4.3 and then run it, it's going to do 4.3, right? When we did 6, it adds the decimal 0, okay? And when we did 7.3, it's going to do 7.3, okay? But remember, these two, because they're in quotes, are strings, okay? So the final one I want to talk about is we're going to talk about strings now, okay? So with strings, we can add text into our numbers, okay? So we're going to do H, I, and J as the letters, right? And we're going to equal. So I'm going to do all these at the same time. So we'll do equal, 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 and then we'll do string, okay? And we're going to do S7, okay? Then we're going to do string equals 4, okay? And then string, and we'll do 5.0, okay? Now let's print these. So let's print H, I, and J. Okay, let's do I. Okay, let's see here. I'm doing the wrong letter. There we go. I. And then J. Okay, and now let's run that. And there you go. So you have S7, we have 4, and then 5.0. Okay, so again, what we did here to wrap up is for all three, we talked about the integer constructor function, the float construction function, and then the string constructor functions, okay? So there you go. So that is Python casting. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.